Like, can't you edit stuff out? Okay, good. Do you want to do characters?
I don't know.
Listen, if you're doing setting, you're doing plot too, because... And then there's this.
No, I'll do characters. You can do plot.
Okay.
Or should I do plot since you wrote all of this?
I don't care.
I can't see.
Take them off then.
What do you think?
Oh, intros are awkward.
Okay, so we read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
We also read Frankenstein, but nothing about it is going to be in here because it was boring and really long. But you know what? It's Gothic because there's monsters. Brittany?
The characters are Dr. Jekyll. He's a respected doctor, well-established friends with Mr. Utterson. There's Mr. Utterson. He's a lawyer. He's respected. He's rational, which Maddie isn't. He's a friend of Jekyll. He experiences strange changes of Jekyll and Hyde. Sounds like the changes I experienced with you. There's Mr. Hyde.
What is that supposed to mean?
There is Mr. Hyde, who's small, deformed, violent, cruel, and it's Jekyll's dark side. Also Maddie. There's Lanyon, who is a doctor, and it's Jekyll's friend. There's Mr. Poole, which is Jekyll's butler of 20 years. Okay.
Are these erasers?
Let me see it.
That's so confusing.
Yes.
They look so real.
There's Mr. Poole, which is Jekyll's... Jekyll's butler of 20 years. He becomes nervous that something happened to Jekyll. There's Mr. Enfield, which is Mr. Utterson's cousin, and he's a formal man.
I'm jealous. I want some.
There's Mr. Guest, who's a clerk. He's a handwriting expert. I feel like a unicorn.
You're an idiot.
So, the setting is in London in the 1800s, but it's not in a castle.
That's not normal. It's not in a castle.
You're not normal.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna get down to business. I thought I almost hit my head on the table. So, the plot of the book is very long. It's only 48 pages, but a lot happens. So, at the beginning of the book, Mr. Utterson and Mr. Enfield speak of a figure, Mr. Hyde, duh. He hurt a young woman, he disappears, and then later reappears with a check to pay off her family that is signed by Dr. Jekyll. And that's already kind of sketchy because, like, they're not friends, but are they friends? We don't know. So, Jekyll wrote his will to Mr. Hyde, which then again, suspicious. What is you doing? So, Utterson has nightmares of Mr. Hyde. Also kind of sketchy. Can you stop? Utterson meets with Lanyon to talk about Jekyll.
Sounds like onion.
You're an idiot. That's what drugs do to you kids. Drugs. Wow. Just wait for the middle school parade to pass. Keep going. Okay. Utterson has an encounter with Mr. Hyde, and Hyde offers to give Utterson his address. After a year, a girl sees Hyde beat an old man to death. He disappears. Utterson visits Jekyll, and Jekyll says Hyde left him a note saying goodbye. So, what did he do? Did he die? Did he go away? Well, they were trying to look for him because he murdered somebody. Criminal Minds. Mr. Guest, Utterson's clerk, notices that Hyde's handwriting is similar to Jekyll's. So, like, there's sketchiness at the beginning, there's sketchiness towards the middle. The book is sketchy. Do you want to get throat punched? Stop looking at me like that. Jekyll begins to be friendly to everybody for a few months, which is like not out of the normal, but then he begins to refuse visits from people, which is out of the normal. And again, it's sketchy.
Stop.
Stop. Okay. Okay.
Stop. No.
Hold on, I'm reading. So Lanyon dies after seeing something that he wasn't supposed to see. Pretty much he saw Jekyll doing something a little funky, a little suspicious.
You making a mixtape?
Yeah, and he died. So,
Look, I'm a fruit fly.
no, just stop. Jekyll secludes himself. Jekyll secludes himself for weeks, and his voice becomes, oh my god, begins to sound different. Utterson and Poole find Hyde's body in Jekyll's clothing, and he dead. So, that's weird.
Bye.
Bye. Jekyll left a letter for Utterson. Like, why though? Right? Lanyon's letter, which I'm pretty sure is the letter, don't really know. Just stop. You too, just stop. His letter says that he died from watching Hyde take a potion and transform into Jekyll, which is like, bam. He died because, yeah, right? His monster friend. No, they're not friends.
We're not friends.
Kind of like us, yeah. Anyway, he died. And the second letter, so I guess there was two, there was two. This one says that Jekyll figured out a way to transform to a monster and
Why
then
is that written in black and that written
back
in
to
green?
himself, because my green pen ran out of ink and Mr. Weiler gave me a black one. Anyway, so Jekyll eventually started transforming in his sleep. And then, when he was awake, the letter was was a cry for help. You know what I mean? And then the book ends. That's the plot. And that was 3.5 minutes. Wow.
Earlier, and I
Couldn't read.
Okay. So, the conflict in the story is Hyde versus Jekyll, which is also like evil versus good because Hyde is Jekyll's evil side, and so yeah.
The resolution is death because he dies, and that's pretty much the good overthrowing the evil. Don't even. Just read. Oh, wait,
It's your turn.
So, why is it Gothic? Can you tell me? Because you're supposed to be learning. Did I just wink? Do you want me to wink? Because it's going to be a hot mess. So, Hyde is a monster, a deformed man. There's a sinister feeling in London, especially when there's murder at night. There's not a castle, so that's something that doesn't make it Gothic. But castles don't matter. This isn't
I live in a castle.
Beauty and the Beast.
I live in a castle.
Mr. Thomas wants to know if you're going back to class.
I just told you.
Oh,
Were you not listening?
I guess not. Okay. Oh, this is your turn now because I answered why it was Gothic.
So some of the themes.
Whoa, sass. These are also in your face, and that doesn't look cute with your pigtails. In your bloody finger. You have two little loose. Shut
You
up.
know where I'm at. How you doing?
It's Friday.
It's a good day.
It is Friday.
So, the themes.
Brittany, it's in your face. Unprofessional.
You're on. So, one of the themes is good versus evil. Jekyll is good. Hyde is evil. Jekyll dies to overthrow Hyde. That's fair.
Thanks. It's the 80s.
A second theme is bachelorhood. All men are bachelors, making London a manly place. I thought that said many.
Manly. No, it
Just
really.
like you.
No, it really was though. Like they were all single men, so that makes it bachelor. No, I'm just gonna stop.
I thought you were flipping
Are
them
you gonna
off.
end the video? What are you doing?
Have you ever seen that book? And it's like the dog or something like that gets pooped on, and he goes around and goes, "Did you do this to my head?"
Nope. But
And it's all different kinds of poops from different animals.
oh, me
I
too.
can't
Did
even
you see her
draw a
backing
straight
up?
line with a straight edge, so you know, hey, I'm toast. There's my girls. I knew they'd show up.
What?
Okay.
All right. So, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Gothic or not? That was a little extra. I need a clicky pen. Okay. So, yes, we think it's Gothic lit because of the dark times and the setting, and obviously, you know, the monster. Duh. This is a quote from the text that kind of supports this. Not really, but it's an example of Gothic lit in the book. So, it says, quiet minds cannot be perplexed or frightened, but go on in fortune or misfortune at their
These are like text for you.
at their own private pace, like a clock during a thunderstorm. And that's all, folks. I gotta stop looking stupid with my hair. Oh, dang. Okay, so now we have to do a conclusion, just like a literary analysis. Or like my class would say, a literary analysis.
So,
We read this. We also read this. We liked this, understood this. We just didn't like this. So that's it.
guess that's it. Again,
That's
I
it.
thought you were flipping them off.
Never would do that. That's a lie. Can you end it already?